Okay, I would like to call to order the May meeting of the Dutchess County LDC. Jasmine, could you take the roll call, please?
Tim Dean,
Present.
Mark Doyle,
Present.
Kathy Bauer,
Present.
Amy Bondadiri,
Present.
Jamie Picone,
Present.
Don Sagliano,
Present.
Al Torjani.
Present.
Okay, and Tim Dean is present. Oh, I already said that, I'm sorry. The first thing to mention is, again, our conflict of interest disclosures. If any board member has a conflict of interest with any project or any part of the agenda, I would ask that you please state so now. Okay, hearing none, if there one arises during the meeting, please be sure to let us know and we'll recuse you from that part of the meeting.
Actually, this is Amy. I'm sorry. I have a conflict. My firm also does work for the Anderson Center for Autism.
Okay. Thank you, Amy.
Sure.
Okay, so that's okay. So when we get to that part of the meeting, we'll move you into the waiting room and then bring you back for the discussion on the fee schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? All right. Sarah, proof of meeting notice was posted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any bills and communications?
No.
Approval of the minutes of the March 19th, 2021 meeting. Does anybody have any corrections or questions about the minutes? Sarah, are there any from your end? Any corrections?
No, no corrections.
Okay. All right. So could I get a motion from a board member to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 19th.
Thank you, Jamie. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Don Sagliano. Okay, Jasmine, could you please just take a roll call vote?
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Amy Bondadiri,
Approve.
Mark Doyle,
Approve.
Jamie Picone,
Approve.
Al Torjani,
Approved.
Don Sagliano,
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. And I do want to apologize to everybody that's on the call. I know that I ask for a roll call vote for everything that we do. I know in some Zoom meetings, there's been all kinds of different ways of approving with, only asking for abstentions or objections, but I just feel our business is too important. And I really would like the, individual vote of every board member for our matters. So I know that takes a little bit of extra time, but I think it's worth it. Okay, Marilyn, would you like to do a report of the treasurer?
Sure. This is Marilyn speaking. Looking at the balance sheet, we currently have 2.8 million available in cash. You'll note the accounts receivable balance is 95,000. 92,000 of that is coming from the county, which we're going to discuss in a minute. Looking at the P&L, we're on budget. There's nothing unusual to report, nothing noteworthy. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the county reimbursement request.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
I'll just give it back on Marilyn.
Okay.
So the county, a new provision in our service contract with Dutchess County now requires board approval before we can file our request to the county. So with that, I'm going to give that to Marilyn to present.
And just Marilyn, just so people know, it is page 8 in our meeting packets in the tabbed agenda. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Marilyn.
Mr. Chairman, I cannot open the LDC meeting pack from the thing. It says I need to request sharing. I didn't have that issue with the IDA meeting package.
Is that the one that Sarah emailed to you directly or from the invite?
It's in the invite.
Does anybody else have that problem?
There's an attachment. If you don't click the link, I did have that problem, but if you click the attachment, it'll open.
I don't have the attachment.
Don, I'm going to send it to you again, but you can also go on our website, the LDC website.
Can you send me the attachment, please? I
Yes.
don't think I should have to navigate to the website.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Is anybody else having problems opening their attachment? Okay, so hopefully that's something that we can. We're going to pause just briefly while we wait for Don to get that.
Okay, that was sent.
Sorry for the delay.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so again, page 8 of 60 is where we're at. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Okay, this is Marilyn speaking. We're looking at the Dutchess County payment request form. There are 2 forms submitted with this, the payment request, which I'm going to review with you, and then the progress report, which Sarah will review with you. Looking at our approved budget and the first column, our approved contract is for $338,250. Expenditures this period, we are going to be submitting quarterly. We have our personnel and fringe benefits for a portion of staff time that is spent on the contract. The contractual consulting of $43,500 is for our DCI contract for 3 months, the monthly fee. The occupancy expense of $12,297 is the same for every quarter. That's a pre-negotiated rate with the county that has already been approved. Other expenses of $18,000. In that line item, we have 2 software applications called MC and Gazelle. They are lead generation software and data analytics, giving us a total of $91,919.96 that we will be putting in for reimbursement for the first quarter. All of these items are in the contract already, so they've been approved by the county. And of course, I have all the backup information, receipts, and invoices that will go with that. Does anyone have any questions on the payment request form?
Okay. Does Sarah want to do her part now on that?
So on page 9 of your packet is the progress report. These are deliverables as part of our county contract. They are, while the organization may have higher outcomes than what is reported in this report, the county just reimburses us for a portion of the activities that the organization does. So to that end, one of our outcomes is to advertise in one industry cluster publication. That has not been done in first quarter, but is planned for a future quarter. The familiarization tours for media and brokers, that's really tours that we host for reporters and journalists. We did not do one in first quarter, but we are planning on one for the end of, or actually the beginning of third quarter, and a possible second one at the end of, or the middle of third quarter. We released one e-newsletter. These are new e-newsletters specifically for site selectors. And then increase our website traffic, social media impressions, and engagement. We are on track to meet our goals. Our lead generation, we are on track to meet the goal. We've conducted 6 of the 15 site visits in first quarter, and we provided 15 technical assistance meetings to local businesses, and we have hosted 4 topic-specific workshops as part of our contract.
Great. So Sarah, do you need a motion from us on this, or is this within your authority to sign?
Yes, I do need a motion to approve this request.
Okay, so what I would like to ask for is a board motion to approve the submission of the Dutchess County payment request and related documents.
Al Torgiani, so moved.
Al Torgiani, I have your motion. Mark, would you be willing to second that?
Yes, please.
Okay, Mark Doyle, second. Jasmine, could you please take a vote?
Don Sagliano,
In favor?
Jamie Picone,
Approve.
Amy Bonadiri,
Approve.
Al Torjani,
Approved.
Mark Doyle,
Approve.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Okay. Are there any reports of committees, Sarah?
No, not at this time.
Any unfinished business?
No.
Okay, new business, consideration and approval of a preliminary inducement. We need to have Amy moved out, I think, at this time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Amy has been placed in the waiting room. Okay, so Sarah, would you like to kick this preliminary inducement resolution matter off?
Yes. So
Okay.
in front of the board this morning is consideration for the inducement resolution for Anderson Center Services, Inc. Anderson Service Center, Inc. is a nonprofit organization that operates the Anderson Center for Autism, a school and residential campus serving a specific and defined group of individuals with developmental disabilities. Anderson Center Services is requesting the LDC's assistance for tax-exempt bond to refinance the remaining balance of a previous Series 2010 LDC bond in the amount of approximately 10 million, not to exceed 13 million. The original Series 2010 LDC bond was used to finance the reconstruction and replacement of Malcolm Hall, construction of a new recreation center, 2 new residence halls, and a wastewater treatment facility. Refunding and refinancing of this debt will enable the school to increase its sustainability and enhance programmatic functions, as well as retain their current 431 FTE employees. We have with us this morning representatives from Anderson to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay. And Sarah, do you want to introduce those folks?
So we have Tina. No. Tarikio, she is the CFO of Anderson.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Would you like to make any comments about the project?
I just wanted to let you know that the reason why we can enhance and we can use the difference between the interest rates is our funding source, who actually pays pays for the bonds, will allow us to keep the difference in the interest rate for 2 years. It would be giving Anderson almost $300,000 to actually keep the enhancements of the campus. We're going to put it right back into the campus and keep it going. So that's why we're looking to technically refinance the bonds.
That's great. Can you talk a little bit about how the school has been affected by COVID and funding issues during the past year?
Well, actually, the funding issues have not, we've actually been okay. Because our school is a residential school. So we have 124 children that actually live on campus and go to our school. We didn't have the same issues that a public school would have, where they had to remotely learn. But it got a little complicated when it came to being able to teach them and isolate them if something happened, parents wanting to see their children and the state saying that they couldn't. So it was more logistical than it was for funding. Actually, the funding didn't hit us so much because of the fact that we're residential.
Thank you.
And the children we serve are very highly complex. So when COVID hit, they didn't go home. They still stayed with us. So I have to say, and I will put a shout out to any time somebody wants to talk to us, our direct support professionals were the greatest people in the world because they worked through the entire time. So we came through pretty well, actually.
Good to hear. Does any board member have any questions? Don Sagliano.
Thank you, Chairman Dean. Tina, can you provide us with your current cost of funds on the existing bond and what you expect the new interest rate to fall in?
Yeah, the current one is 6.1. And at this point in time, we've calculated that the new interest rate all in will be about 3.04.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And as you mentioned, you will, the person who, or however you're receiving this funding, they're not going to capture the benefit for the first 2 years. They're going to allow you to utilize the difference
Yes.
towards your budget.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Hearing no other questions, would there be a board member willing to make a motion to approve this preliminary resolution?
Don Sagliano, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Could I get a second, please?
Al Turjani, I'll second.
Thank you, Al. Okay, Jasmine, could you please take a roll call vote?
Mark Doyle,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Amy Bondieri,
She's in
sorry,
the meeting room.
this is-
She's a conference.
Jamie Picone,
Approved.
Don Sagliano,
Approved.
Al Torjani,
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Okay, so the preliminary resolution is approved. Sarah, now this will go for, is there a public hearing needed for this matter?
Yes, there's a TEFRA hearing on this matter, and then they will come back to the board at a future meeting for their final inducement resolution.
Great.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Okay, can we bring Amy back in, please? Okay, Amy, are you back in?
She's
Muted.
just muted.
You're muted, Amy. Okay. I'm going to assume that you're back in.
I'm here.
There we go. Thank you. Okay. All right. So Sarah, we need to move on to fee schedule. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you want to start us out on that?
Yep. So
And going to the end of our packet.
yes. So the fee schedule starts on page 58 of your packet. And I will focus my discussion on page 60, which is the chart in the packet. So for the LDC has never changed their fee schedule since its creation in 2010. As a result, we do charge our fees are quite low. I did look at several LDCs in the state, but the reality is our competition when it comes to the LDC is the New York State Dormitory Authority. So I only included the Dormitory Authority fees as comparison to the rather than include all the other LDCs. So what I am proposing is a modest increase in our fee schedule, which is 0.5% of the first 25 million and then 0.25% of the balance above. If you look at the bottom of the chart, you'll see the example in practice. So a bond that is 10 million will be paying $50,000 in admin fees as opposed to 43,750 under the old formula. DASNY charges anywhere between 125, excuse me, for actually educational facilities, they charge a standard admin fee of 125,000. For healthcare, that standard fee starts at 150,000. They also have a separate fee for what they consider complex projects, as well as projects that are over 20 million, and that standard admin fee is $200,000. Kind of going, I skipped over the application fee. We will be raising our application fee to $1,000, consistent with what the IDA is charging. We currently charge $250. DASNY does not charge a application fee, but their admin fee and their annual fee is quite high. So I can see why they don't charge an application fee. The annual compliance fee that I'm proposing for LDC projects, because these are nonprofit projects, is $500 a year. We currently don't charge an admin fee. The DASNY charges a percentage. So they take 6 basis points off the first 3 years of the balance of the bond, and then 3 basis points for the remaining years of the bond. Healthcare bonds or healthcare projects, that starts at 10 basis points with a maximum on both sides of administrative fee of $100,000. The administrative fee for DASNY bonds, DASNY allows them to finance that with the bond itself, so they can be paying those bonds up front, similar, so it almost becomes an admin closing. Modifications after closing, extension of inducement, refinancing the bonds, termination fees. I am not proposing any of that other than any modification after closing or processing fee of a flat $5,000. And then our processing fee for that we currently have that covers our council costs and transcription services will remain the same, and that is at cost to the applicant.
So Sarah, I see down at the bottom, you have examples in practice, and for DASNY, it says annual fee of 99,000 over on the right-hand side there, but I see, I'm just trying to understand how that compares to the 125/150 that's in the table itself.
So because DASNY allows applicants to include that annual fee in their as part of their administrative closing fee at closing. So while the flat fee or the starting fee is 125 or 150, it could be quite high if the entity decides to finance the annual costs into it. So I added that. So you'll see that for a $300 million bond, under the proposed fee schedule, we would be collecting 812, while DASNY, it says 200,000. If you include the annual, their annual fees, it could be, up to 3.2 million.
Good now. Did everybody else follow that?
Yep.
So Sarah, I just want to make a comment. You had mentioned that our competition was DASNY. And, I just want to be clear, and I understand what you meant, but what we're trying to do, our mission is to make this process something that's as cost effective as possible for the eligible applicants within our county. And so, our goal is to try and keep the cost of these types of things reasonable for them. It's not to compete with DASNY's per se to win at all costs. Our goal is to make this a reasonable way for our applicants to finance meaningful projects.
Yeah, Chairman Dean, if I could just add in here, yes, I agree that, that's not a competitive nature, but it would be, the applicant's best course of action to look for their best cost benefit analysis whether it's accident funding or the ongoing carrying costs, et cetera. So we just offer a cost-effective alternative.
Yes. Agreed. Is there any other questions or comments from board members about this fee proposal? Okay, and Sarah, just to be clear, we do not need any further analysis assistance on these types of projects. These are much more straightforward for us, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So unless there's any other questions, I would entertain a motion from a board member to approve the fee schedule as presented to us.
This is Kathy. I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Kathy. Can I get a second?
Mark Doyle, I'll say second that.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, Jasmine, could you please take a vote?
Al Giorgiani,
Approved.
Don Sagliano,
Approved.
Jamie Picone,
Approved.
Amy Bondieri,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Mark Doyle,
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Okay. Sarah, is there any other business we need to talk about?
No, not this morning.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to adjourn the meeting of the Dutchess County LDC and thank everybody for their time and patience as we went through these agendas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.